Just go try it out. Me personally, it helped a lot, way more than this pink noise shit method or any other mixing tip I ever got. This is by far the one that helped me out the most. Welcome to the studio. Today another full episode making music. Today something I kind of have a love-hate relationship with, and that is definitely mixing. Because the mixing process can be anything between like getting it done in a day, sometimes in a week, sometimes even never. The biggest problem is usually that you have like so many elements, like a techno track is still like 30 tracks, up to maybe 50, 60, 70, maybe even 100 for a pop song with a lot of vocal layers. And another problem is actually our ears and the brain. I mean, amazing. They adapt, which is good for like just like surviving. But when it comes to making music, if you listen to a song and you, for example, high cut it and you listen to it for like 5 minutes, this sounds normal to you. If you then remove the high cut again, it sounds way too harsh, way too much top end. So it's really hard to judge sitting in front of the mix for hours and hours if it actually is balanced or not. Most producers actually compensate it by like just having a ton of experience, and others by A and B testing, like listening in between while you're mixing to other songs just to reset your ears kind of. And there's also one method that I absolutely hate, that's like this pink noise mixing method. In my opinion, totally like a waste of time. You basically set up a pink noise and mix all of your elements in the song to the pink noise to make it like disappear at the right level in the pink noise. You see, it's total bullshit. And then you kind of get a mix, like a starting point for mixing. But I think it's just super annoying because you have to listen to a pink noise the entire time. And I think just by like on the go while you make the song, while you jam along, you already set up the levels in a way that is way better than with the pink noise mixing method. Let's just call this method the Match EQ mixing method. It's really amazing because instead of comparing your sounds, your tracks to a pink noise, you actually compare it to another song. So the number one rule for this mixing method to actually work properly is to try and find a song that is extremely similar. As a beginner, you will probably anyways try and copy whatever you like. That's how you learn the best. Actually, everyone does it, and later on you develop your own style. So just drag into your DAW that kind of song, and yeah, let me actually fire up Logic and show it to you within the computer. This right here is my on and off remix. That's the entire project of the song. I've already opened up the Match EQ. It comes with Logic standard for free. So if you have Logic, you're lucky. If you don't have Logic, I will link down below in the description a link where you can get something similar for all other DAWs. And basically what it does is pretty simple. You click onto reference and then solo the song that you want to have as a reference. So the track by someone else that is a professional that has a balanced, mixed and mastered song. And then you click on current, that is your song. Let it then play. Let's maybe do that really quick. Yeah, and then yeah, thanks Logic for ruining my video. Once you've recorded both the reference and the current one, and I have to say I get usually the best results when I do it like on the drop, the main part of the song where most of the frequencies are playing for both songs, and maybe then for like 10-15 seconds. That's usually enough for it to detect all of the frequencies that appear in that kind of part, and then simply just hit match. It will look like this. Maybe way different. It really depends on how good your mixing is. In the top end, it wants to remove top end. That's usually if you've used an MP3 file. So I actually like to fade out the top end so that no changes are applied to the top end. And I usually do the same also for the low end. Sometimes this really depends on how extreme these settings are. And then you re-listen again to your song. I hope it works this time. And it sometimes will sound like shit. This just happens. Then maybe choose another reference song, or maybe the setting is just too extreme. For example, you can just lower here the percentage, and this will smooth out the EQing changes that it does. And you got a couple more settings. For example, smoothing. This will make the graph look smoother, or like being really, really precise, which can also sound really awkward. And you can also channel link. This is like the stereo. It's actually detecting left and right separate. If you link it, it will apply to both the same. But if you unlink it, it will actually treat the left and right different. So I usually don't use it. I just do it like in mono, because that's usually enough. There is never something so different going on left or right that it needs to have a different EQ setting. You can choose the phase, linear, minimal, zero latency if you like. And that's really pretty much it. It's very straightforward, easy to use. And you could now either just leave it on the master as it is. I sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I actually do that. If I'm not happy with the mix and it doesn't sound glued together enough, I just apply it onto the master and leave it on there with maybe just like 5 to 10%, just like a little EQing, smoothing, getting that kind of mastered sound onto my own song. If the changes are huge and it sounds drastically different, then again, either you picked the wrong reference track, so don't try doing a pop song as a reference and you make heavy metal, this won't work. Try really to find something similar from the frequencies, and maybe even find a song that has the same key, because depending on the key, the frequencies shift. And if the gap is still huge between the two compared ones, then I would actually go back, and here is what makes this so handy. If, for example, now here in my case, it shows me that I'm actually missing quite a lot of low end. It shows me below 50 Hertz that there isn't really a whole lot in my song. It wants to emphasize below 50 Hertz again to make it sound like the reference track. This basically means my song has too little low end. I cut too much stuff out of the low end. And when we now check out my kick here in the mix and go in there, you can actually see that I low cutted the kick because I felt like it had too much bass. But maybe this was the wrong decision, and the Magic Cube kind of showed me that. I can now go in there and like enable it, disable it, and kind of check what's better and if I actually like that. So the Magic Cube can give you hints and suggestions where you have like too much in a mix or too little, and then go back into the mix and fix it. Never ever just put it on there, leave it in the 100%. This will just sound really, really awkward. It's basically with this method just showing you where problems might be occurring and you might have to change it. So of course, every method has advantages and disadvantages. Same with this one. Just go try it out. Me personally, it helped a lot, way more than this pink noise shit method or any other mixing tip I ever got. This is by far the one that helped me out the most. It really detects it, it compares it to something different from another producer that you actually like. So it's the easiest to get as close as possible to it. It's basically copying the frequency response of someone else's song. Shows you where things in your mix might miss. For example, if the reference song has like a big piano in the low mids and you don't, then you might think like, okay, I might need an element in that frequency spot. Maybe I should add like those low piano chords in there to fix it. Maybe you can choose another element to fix those kind of frequencies. Maybe you don't actually want that, then just don't do it and maybe try another reference song. And also again, this is really for beginners that don't have a clue about frequency, like distribution and what kind of element has to go where. For a pro, this might be not that interesting, but even as a pro, this could sometimes help. It's at least as helpful as actually listening really quick to a reference track, because it's actually showing you. You don't have to compare in your brain. It basically does it for you. And again, also very helpful for people that don't have the studio, the treated room, just maybe headphones. So yeah, go try it out. I will, again, as I said, just link down below a plugin that does the same for other DAWs. And that's basically pretty much it today. Just yeah, go try it out, have fun mixing. And by the way, I now started like a new notification squad only newsletter list. So if you want to, you can apply. It's no spam or anything like that. It's really just me trying to help you with like tips and tricks, free samples. If you subscribe now, you will get instantly like I think like 4 or 5 gigabytes of free samples, royalty free of course, and also my construction kit with like 5 Logic templates, guitars in it, and some of my old songs, like the full projects, which was paid only, is now for free. So the second link in the description. That's now really it. Tomorrow back again here in the studio, hopefully finishing that song. And yeah, some exciting business stuff is also going on today, but more on that tomorrow here on this channel.